let's get into this video. Let me show you guys how to make the best spaghetti with a homemade meat sauce. Here's all of what you're going to be needing to make this spectacular. Freshly minced garlic, tomato paste. I have some fresh basil, red cooking wine. If you have regular crushed tomatoes and some more tomato sauce, then here I have a blend for this dish. I got some thyme. With all of that being said, guys, let's get into making this dish. We're going to start out by browning our meat. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so before we begin to brown this meat, I just want to give you an update. I forgot to show you guys that, and as usual, everything will be listed in the description below, all of the ingredients and the measurements. So to start off, we're going to be browning our ground beef. All right, so I'm just going to loosen this up. All right, guys, so I'm not going to be doing anything special right now. I'm going to let this ground beef brown all the way. And then ground beef has totally browned. And guys, off camera, I went ahead and I drained off the excess grease to make sure that we have a non-greasy sauce. So, okay, just to get that going. Just get that. Because you want to season your sauce. And that's going to be to your liking. Okay, so now I'm just going to add a little black pepper. Just a little bit. Okay. And you don't really need to season the meat too much at this point because it's going to just what you really want to make sure you get right. Okay, so right now we're going to make a little well right here. And we're going to go on with our tomato paste. So we're going to let this go for about a minute just to get some of that bitter taste cooked off of it with the tomato. Now we're just going to mix that in and let this cook down for about to cook down. So we're just going to cook this down for about 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, and let that go along with our paste. Okay, so it's been about 3 minutes. No pepper ahead of time because it's going to cook down in the sauce and there was no need for that. We want our sauce to be flavorful, so you're going to let it continue its cooking process in the sauce. Now we're going to let this cook out. Guys, this smells so good. So we're going to let this go for about 2 to 3 minutes. Using red wine in your meat sauce is such a game changer. It is used in authentic meat sauce. So we're definitely doing that. We're going to add our crushed tomatoes. We're going to mix that in. I think I could eat it just like this. How about you guys? Okay, now we're going to go in with our tomato sauce, both of them. It beats anything that's already made in a jar or a can, however you're used to buying it. Once you make it this way, you're never going to make it another way. Trust me, guys, it's so good and it's so... I didn't add it earlier because I didn't want it to burn, so I'm going to add it now so it can infuse the sauce. Now we're just going to... This is going to be so amazing. I can't wait to have some. Okay, so we're going to let that go. Now, we're going to add our seasonings. We're going to mix that in. Okay, so we have our seasonings mixed in there. So now, all right, so we got the sugars and the seasonings mixed in. So before I add any actual salt, I'm going to allow for everything to come together. All the flavors that we have in it almost cooked completely, just to make sure that it isn't over salted. And we have a well-balanced meat sauce. So I'm going to be adding our fresh basil. Forgot to mention that earlier. But guys, as usual, I will be listing everything in the description below. So we're going to get that mixed in there. And we'll fish these out just like the garlic. So guys, I'm going to allow this to cook for about 35 to 40 minutes before I check it. And you want to try stirring it every now and then. The total time for this to cook, time to check our sauce. Guys, let me tell you, this smells amazing. Now you just want to stir it around and loosen it up a bit. We use the perfect amount of sauce to create this perfect balance. Okay, so now what you want to do is fish out all of... You get everything out. You just wanted to give it another quick little stir to get everything together. Now we have to give it a taste to make sure that all the seasonings blended well. And to... Wow. That's a hit right there. So we just need a little bit of salt. Make sure you add that to your recipe. Follow this recipe. So that was a little salt. Then I'm gonna add a little. That should balance everything out. All right, let me give that another taste. Perfect. Well, another 15 minutes. So I'm gonna get started on our spaghetti noodles now. Before we get into cooking our pasta, guys, I just want to show you how perfect this sauce is. And it's not runny, it's not soupy. It's gonna coat your pasta perfectly. Okay, just wanted to show you guys that. All right, so now let's really put a bit of oil to it just so that our pasta doesn't stick. So I'm gonna be cooking our noodles now just until they are al dente. Make sure that you follow your box instructions. Cook. Then I'm gonna show you guys a butter sauce that I use to go on these noodles so that they don't be dry and just plain and pale looking. All right, and I'll move them around just to make sure that they don't clump up together and they get an even cook on each noodle. So let me show you this butter sauce now. A stick of butter. We're gonna let that melt. I like adding this to my spaghetti noodles just be something. So this is gonna add a ton of flavor to our spaghetti dish, trust me. And once you try this, trust me, you're not gonna. I'm going to be adding some garlic powder. And guys, the measurements will be in the description below for this entire dish. Remember guys, do not add any salt to this because the butter already has, a little bit of salt, and that's gonna be fine. Now we're just gonna add a little bit of dried parsley flakes. So this is all that you need to do, guys. Now you can just set this aside, and as soon as your noodles are done and you've drained the water off, you're just gonna pour this right over it. Just drizzle this over the pasta. Okay. Now we're just gonna mix. Want to give it a light little toss. Trust me, it'll get everywhere. It'll make its way around. See, doesn't this look a little better than plain old dried, pale looking pasta? All right, guys. So add our beautiful pasta to a bowl. Okay, so that you guys can see how great this tastes and how good it looks. So I'm going to show you the pasta up close. Doesn't this look better than some plain boring spaghetti? All right, let's get the sauce. So here's that beautiful sauce that we made. Let's just drizzle some over it. Guys, let me know in the comments how you like your with the pasta placed on top of the noodles. Let me know in the comments because everyone likes it different. So now I'm going to hit it with a. Before I taste it, let me show you how good the noodles look. I know I keep stressing it, but guys, it's so important. So guys, I'm going to kind of mix mine up just to get that sauce all throughout it. Okay, so first bite goes to you. Now to me. Guys, that is amazing. Oh my God, you gotta try the butter sauce for your pasta when you make this dish. We added to it. The noodles are cooked perfectly. Everything is just flavorful. It's bursting with flavor. So guys, that's the end of this video. And definitely share the video. Let me know in the comments what you think of this video. I greatly appreciate you all. With that being said,